I'm Kathie Seidel from Fort Worth, Texas. My family is a victim of guardianship abuse and probate corruption. My daughter, Kathie Seidel, needs your assistance. Decisions about her life are being made right now which she opposes. Please help my daughter get the freedom she came to America to enjoy. She is a 26-year-old young woman with mild brain injury, born in Russia and placed in an orphanage there at birth. As the single parent of a son who had died at age 22 while studying in Germany, I wanted to parent again. I adopted her at age 8, along with her brother Greg at age 4, also from Russia. Although she has some mental health issues, Kathie is very high functioning, and she could be doing so much more with her life. In fact, she could be leading others who have disabilities. Greg's adjustment when he was adopted was an easy and joyful one, having arrived first and at a much younger age. Kathie's adjustment was difficult. She was soon diagnosed with severe attachment disorder, trouble bonding with the adoptive family common in European adoptions, and especially those coming from very early orphanage life. She came to the right place when she came to me. However, her family was dedicated and ingenious, knowing how to find or create necessary resources. The entire family worked hard in specialized attachment therapy for 7 years. Kathie and her brother thrived. These same resources that I helped develop in turn helped many other adoptive families similarly situated. In 2006, Kathie had some setbacks as her brain chemistry became very altered due to seizures. Sadly and abruptly, at the age of 20, after only 12 years with us, she was forced under a guardianship in an ex parte or secret hearing. We weren't notified, we had no idea it was taking place. And she has been isolated from friends and family for 6 years now. The family has done nothing wrong, as is true with other families who come in contact with these type probate courts. Documentation confirms this. It appears headcount needed for funding sources in private guardianship companies becomes much more important than the well-being and intactness of families and even basic civil rights of the individual. Close family friends, at least 3 are willing, have notified the court by certified mail that they would like to become Kathie's successor guardian. This would cost Medicaid and the county nothing. Aren't we in a budget crunch? The people seeking to help are ignored, in spite of Texas Probate Code 695A, which states that the judge and guardian will readily investigate and step aside when another qualified individual, other than the professional, is found able and willing to provide the guardianship services. Presently, Kathie is asking to become her own guardian, and a guardian is supposed to educate her about her options. There is audio of her pleading, which can be sent digitally. I've recorded it. She has gotten beyond the fear foster provider and guardian have instilled in her for so long. She is fed up and she is reaching out in spite of threats to her. She is asking to move from the foster placement she is in. Things in this placement have become very negative and punishment-oriented. She is no longer allowed to participate in any of the 4 Special Olympics teams she has enjoyed so much. She could do more, but is only allowed by the foster provider to work 2 to 3 hours a week at Ross Department Store. There is a financial incentive to the guardian in painting her as lower functioning than she actually is. She is not allowed to use the home phone freely or to have a private conversation if she is permitted to use the phone at all. She may not receive any mail that does not go through the guardian first. She has less rights than a prisoner. There is a long, specifically documented history of Kathie being placed by the guardian in very abusive and neglectful settings that even DADS, the Department of Aging and Disability in Texas, is very aware of. Yet this is the United States and not Russia. Guardians allowing family contact would mean that family members would know the details of the ward's living conditions. They would advocate for these wards who are virtually imprisoned. The guardianship company keeps wards from their families as they do not want to have to address the serious problems these people live with in institutions and other settings. Anyone in long-term care would agree this isolation is a perfect setup for abuse to occur, and it has. Some wards have not gotten seriously needed medical care and have lost their lives even due to the neglect of guardians. Their rights are addressed in Health and Human Services regulations and minimum standards for guardianship services. However, private companies doing guardianship are accountable to the judges appointing them only, and they indicate even to state agencies that they can do as they please. Sadly, some guardians actually give the impression and say the words that they own these wards. Please help so that we can once again be together. My daughter has not been allowed to see us on a holiday or birthday or Mother's Day in years. We are allowed to see her only once a month for an hour, supervised. Through this turmoil, her brother's life has changed so needlessly. He has lost his sister's companionship, and she is the one person who personally understands the impact of his early life in Russia. They were very close, and they could always make one another laugh. I'd love to hear that laughter again. As we age, the same scenario happens to the elderly so often. This could be you or I, and easily will be if this is not stopped, living such an isolated and neglected existence away from family and friends.